Greetings and salutations. It's another edition of Freedom Friday with your hosts, the lady, lovely Lucy, Minister Lucy Arrington is in the house with us today. Hey, y'all, as you're coming in, we're getting everything situated and set up. What I need for you to do is like and share. So let me go to my phone. You see my phone. Let me go onto my page and let me share this. Like it first. And then let me share this with a few people and put it in a few groups because I want you, ma'am and sirs, to be blessed by this particular segment of Conversations with Cornelius and Freedom Friday. Come in the chat, put in Freedom Friday. It's a day to be free. It's a day to understand freedom. But guess what? Freedom comes with responsibility. So, Lulu, I've just tagged you in it. Do you have it? Just making sure.
I'm checking.
Yeah, give it time so that you and I, Lucy Arrington, shared your video. We're good on that end. I'm liking it. Thanks for sharing. Good afternoon, everybody in Central Standard Time Zone. It's almost 3 o'clock. We have a comment coming in. Isaac Davis from YouTube in the house. Brother Davis, Freedom Friday. How are you doing, Brother Davis? Tell us how you're doing so we can put the comment on the screen. And let me share with you, Brother Davis. We have a heavy topic today. I don't want to come off as chauvinistic. What's the other word, Lucy, you said today? Misogynistic, a woman basher, but we want to set the record straight about some things. So in this new woke culture, Isaac, some of the pronouns that we use and some of the vocabulary comes off as misogynistic and patriarchal and chauvinistic, and we're not trying to do that today. So Brother Isaac Davis, we're asking you publicly, how do you define chauvinism? How do you define those things? Being patriarchal, what is the role of a man and a woman or female and male? And this show is dedicated truly to a conservative view. I'm not going to deviate. I'm saying that now on the front end. So, Brother Isaac, thank you for joining us. It's Conversations with Cornelius, and it is Lady Lucy and the Yak. So we're grateful for this Freedom Friday. About to play our introduction, y'all. We'll be right back, and you see Lady Lucy's raring and ready to go. But we about to rumble, y'all, today. It's about to be a show. I promise you, it's about to be a show because Lucy got some questions, and we got something to show y'all. All right, Lady Lou, can you hear me? Mic check.
I can hear you clearly. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. But what I heard today was a little disturbing. The video you sent me, and you're going to help put some context around it. And we don't have the full video, but we have a reel. So on this segment of Conversations, with Cornelius, we're going to look at a reel so we can keep it real. How about that? We'll call it from real to real.
Real to real.
From real to real, because I want to look at this reel. I want to get an understanding of where you are with this reel, where I am. And I don't object to, I'm not bashing the lady, but I just want to understand. I think I understand what she's saying, but I need to get a clear understanding of what she's saying.
Yeah. And I don't think, I'm glad we're going to look at the reel and let the viewers, view the reel. But not knowing her or her background and her life experiences, I don't think we can fully know where she's coming from. But we can talk about it. Let's talk about it.
We're gonna talk about it. Okay, y'all. We got to drop this bomb today.
And a man should be the submissive. That's
because y'all follow commands. You go do. And she gonna tell you what to do. Because here's the thing: if y'all don't have somebody telling y'all what to do, y'all are going to be reckless. And so
I gotta pause. I can't take no more. Hold on. Can't take no more. Right? This lady, and shout out, love her appearance. She said the men are supposed to be submissive. That's what she said.
That's what she said. That's
Let
what
me,
she said.
let me make sure I heard her correctly.
A woman should be the dominant and a man should be the submissive. That's
Yeah,
what you're
because
talking
y'all follow commands. You go do. You go do. And she gonna tell you what to do. Because here's the thing. If y'all don't have somebody telling y'all what to do, y'all are going to be reckless.
I can't take it. Lucy, wait a minute. Let me ask you a question. Do you agree or disagree with her statement?
Her statement,
Yes or no first. They didn't ask for a rationale.
I can't say yes or no, right? It's not that black and white, right? Because she said men follow commands.
Okay.
Go do. And there is some truth in that, right? But we have to understand why that is. And I don't think we really have the time to kind of delve into that. But where my mind goes with that is, where did that originate from? Right? Black men, many years ago, were forced into slavery, and their free will was taken away. And they, in order to survive, they had to do what they were told. So that's my response to your question.
So we got to be told what to do.
Yeah.
Even if it's a woman telling us what to do, we need to be told what to do. Because that's what she said.
Some
We
men,
need to be told what to do.
some men, they do. I know. I mean, because okay, the world systems, right? Even in the world right now today, you're a pastor. One of the things they want to know is, do you have a wife?
Okay.
When you're applying for these positions in the church, they like, well, do you have a wife? Because people think that if a man or woman is married, they kind of have some parameters around their behavior. They have a partner in a relationship that'll help them make good decisions. When you apply for credit, on the credit application, they ask you, are you single, married, or divorced? That's rooted in how what your judgment may be about making decisions and paying your bills. You know, it's in there.
Listen to what she says.
I heard what she said. I listen. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Listen to what she says.
A woman should be the dominant and a man should be the submissive. That's
yes, because y'all follow commands. You go do. You go do. And she gonna tell you what to do. Because here's the thing. If y'all don't have somebody telling y'all what to do, y'all are going to be reckless.
Oh,
I think you need to play it out.
okay.
I think you need to play it out.
Right.
So, yeah.
Play it out because I want some folk need to hear it.
And so women are divorcing y'all in these relationships because they are allowing you to quote unquote lead, and they're being submissive. And since y'all can't lead yourself, y'all leading her into the ground. So here's the thing. The natural order is for the feminine to be the leader. If you give to the feminine, right? The feminine is always going to regenerate life and everybody's going to be taken care of. Y'all are territorial. Y'all just want the image of leadership. You just want to be out in public. I'm the leader, but all of the responsibility is actually on the woman. The leader takes the majority of the responsibility. If women allow men, which means she submit, all right, and allow him to lead, she don't have no control over what he's going to do. She's steady submitting to him. To change their minds and realize that they ain't supposed to submit to men because men just going to do what you allow them to do, because they don't have no governor on their own behavior to know when to not do something, to know better. They don't know. They just going to keep being reckless. And they're not going to take care of your feelings because they're only concerned about theirs.
All right, folks, that was heavy bombshell. I'm still trying to unpack that, Lucy. Is that true? Do you feel that way?
No, I don't necessarily feel that way.
What part do you agree with? And what part do you disagree with? Let me ask that. Do you feel like, do you think that we don't have a governor? Do you think we're not going to take care of y'all's feelings? What do you think? And to the listening audience, tell me what y'all thought about that video. Thought first. I said thought. I didn't ask you what you felt. I'm asking Lucy what she feels and thinks. Listening audience, tell me what you thought and felt. And if you wanted to be replayed, just type in replay in the comments. So what are your thoughts?
So my thoughts when I first saw this video, I mean, I wasn't looking for this, right? This just showed up on my feed. And I said, wow. My initial thoughts was some of the things that she was saying had some truth in it. And that's based on my life experiences with some men.
Pause. Let's rewind. Here we go, Jerry, because I need your input. 1 minute and 30 seconds. Listen at this.
Should be the dominant, and the man should be the submissive. That's
Yes, because y'all follow commands. You go do. You go do. And she gonna tell you what to do. Because here's the thing. If y'all don't have somebody telling y'all what to do, y'all are going to be reckless. And so women are divorcing y'all in these relationships because they are allowing you to quote unquote lead, and they're being submissive. And since y'all can't lead yourself, y'all leading her into the ground. So here's the thing. The natural order is for the feminine to be the leader. If you give to the feminine, right? The feminine is always going to regenerate life and everybody's going to be taken care of. Y'all are territorial. Y'all just want the image of leadership. You just want to be out in public. I'm the leader, but all of the responsibility is actually on the woman. The leader takes the majority of the responsibility.
Let me pause it right there. She has said so much.
So a lot.
She said a lot, like imagery, the level of submission, changing the order. What do you agree with?
There's 3 things she said that resonated with me. She said, men follow commands.
Number one.
Number 1. Number 2, women are divorcing men because of their reckless behavior.
Okay.
And because they're trying to submit to them, right? But they're leading them, running them in the ground. The 3rd thing she said, she talked about the natural order. And I think you have to talk about each one of those individually. So the first one is about men following the commands. We touched on that. But what I think that is really rooted in is that some men understand that they need to be okay with honoring their spouse's skill set, and that in a relationship there's going to be 2 people, biblically speaking, a man and a woman, and their strengths should offset one another's weaknesses. So when a man traditionally subscribes to that type of thinking, he can be sometimes called weak. You know, his wife wear the pants and even henpecked. But I heard an old man say that there's nothing wrong with being henpecked, but as long as you're being pecked by the right hand, right?
Pause. I like that.
And
Pause. You got to chew on that.
yeah.
You got to be pecked by the right hand. Pause. You got to comment. The natural order is never feminine. if that were the case, they wouldn't lead themselves into terrible relationships to start with. Why can women be superior in everything except terrible choices in mates?
Yeah. Okay, Jay.
That's what I'm talking about.
So Jay talked. Okay, Jay. So when she referenced the natural order, that's not the natural order, right? Because a man's job in a relationship, a man plants a seed. The woman carries that seed, nurtures that seed, develops that seed, and that requires a heavy weight to be carried for 9 months. And then after those 9 months, you give birth, and that process is painful. There's nothing about that process that feels good other than the joy that you see on the other side when you get to hold that healthy, wholesome bundle of life that you help create, right? And so that is the natural order of in a relationship. Women cannot be the lead. That is how it was designed. That's how it was created. However, because we have freedom of choice, life has transitioned and we got some different things going on. But I think going back to what I was saying about the man respecting his mate's strengths and weaknesses, when he really does that, he's being a very effective leader. He's being a strong leader because he recognizes in his wife that she is great at taking care of whatever that area of the household that he's allotted her to run, right? And they have a partnership. So he's making great leadership decisions that benefit his family and his relationship. So I think this is really what we're talking about is leadership and how it affects those areas that she mentioned in a relationship.
I heard what she said. And
That's
people, you got to go back and check out this TikTok. It's really interesting. And I know we didn't get the whole segment of it, but what we have is what we have. And she said women should be the dominant one, though. She started out saying men should submit to women.
Mm-hmm.
Women should be the dominant one when we know organically that just doesn't, that's not how it was designed organically.
Correct.
We know what it says in ancient literature, including the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to figure out why her argument is so stuck on reversing the natural order of things. And where do you, I know where you stand as a woman of faith and a believer,
Mm-hmm.
but this is some information that needs to, in my estimation, needs to be corrected and challenged. And I'm not knocking her for saying it. I'm open to a dialogue.
Right.
But like Jerry said, why come if you make women, the natural order is never feminine. They would not lead themselves into terrible relationships if they were when given the opportunity to lead.
I think
women can lead, but the natural order cannot be changed.
So this is about women and men.
Right. To me, it is.
It's about women and men. And so women, and it's about humanity first, right? Humans make bad decisions. There are some men and women. There's some ratchet women, just like it's some ratchet men. And so you can make decisions for choosing a mate for various reasons that end up showing you that was the wrong decision. You made the wrong decision in that, right? So I don't think choosing a mate has anything to do with a woman taking the lead, right? You have to, for me, let's talk about me, because I don't know that young lady and I don't know her life story. For me, I have made some decisions and been in relationships with and connected to people that I shouldn't have been connected to. Right? That was a decision that I made. It had nothing to be with me not being submissive, because I personally believe, and I think this is what you want to hear. I personally believe that a man should be the head, but the Bible also says that you have a helpmeet. So it's a partnership, right? You shouldn't usurp your authority over a woman or anyone in leadership, right? You have to understand that you're in it together. You can't make relationship choices based on who's in the lead. No, two people go into a relationship. A woman, I can't just decide, oh, I'm gonna have a relationship with him. That, and a man can't do that. When a man does that to a woman, that's called rape. I mean, that's that's not how that works. There must be a common decision made to enter into the relationship. Now, I do believe maybe sometimes we don't have the conversations and counseling we need to have before we get into these relationships, right? You need to understand what both people think about money. How do you deal with money? What do you think my role is as the wife? Do you think I'm supposed to be in the kitchen cooking 5 days a week, and I should give you a minimum of five children? Do you think I need to be a stay-at-home mom, or do you think I need to work and help contribute to the finances of the household? These are just some of the things that come up in relationships. So I just don't understand how the comment about the women can't lead. We want to lead, but we don't take responsibility for leading ourselves into bad relationships. I think that's what it said, along those lines. So I'm a little confused by that one.
I'm just trying to digest what you said and what she said. Like, there's a lot being said.
That's right.
And Donna said counseling is a must before marriage. How much counseling? Don, I mean, it's not. Let me say this. Counseling is something that starts in your present and works backwards to your past. The true essence of counseling deals with past traumas, hurts, usually traditional counseling. Coaching is something that begins in your present and moves towards your future. So even though that you might get a great degree of marriage counseling that starts in your present and works towards your past,
that's good,
to heal you, you're still going to need some coaching to work in your present towards your future.
That's right.
Now, I don't know what events have happened in this happened in her life, but she's speaking from a place of conviction.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not ready to reverse the order, period.
I agree.
I'm not ready to reverse the order. I don't agree that the order should be reversed. It's just natural. The king of the jungle, right? Let's just be honest. It's natural. This is what you see in nature. Now you see some other things in nature that she has used to strengthen her argument and to cripple the character of some men who make bad choices.
Mm-hmm.
But that's nature. That's a natural inclination. I'm just not ready to submit to this argument or conviction because it's not natural. We're not talking about what's scriptural and what's spiritual. And we can use other text. But if we stay in the biblical text that you and I were brought up in, we already know that women can be given a place of leadership, but we can't reverse the natural order. Men are the head. Christ, then a man, then a woman. The man was first formed, then Eve. And Eve was a gift of the man.
That's right.
So I thank God for every man who receives his gift
Yes.
as a help meet and mate, but I can't reverse the order because Adam came first, according to the text that I've chosen to believe in.
And
Isaac has a great point. Isaac says, I don't agree with how women, this woman in the video commented, but Lucy is right. It takes both parties. Yes, in today's world, that does not need to be okay. Okay, yeah, you're right, Isaac. I believe in that.
And I mean, she said so much, right? And as a divorced woman of God, right? She said women are divorcing men because they're out here being reckless and trying to be submitted to a man that's driving them in the ground. And what happens is that when a woman is not receiving what she needs emotionally and mentally, that affects her physical being.
Pause. When she's not receiving what she needs emotionally and mentally, has it really been truly communicated to the man what she needs emotionally and mentally? Or is it an understanding that we just assume what you're not communicating, I'm receiving,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm receiving and interpreting what you're not communicating effectively. I will say it that way because a lot of breakdowns in relationships is based upon what you just said, when she's not getting what she needs emotionally and mentally. What does she need? Because if we look at June Cleaver, let's go back. If we look at a June Cleaver, Leave It to Beaver, we look at your show, I Love Lucy. We see this imagery from Hollywood that paints a traditional portrait of a woman staying at home, being taken care of. And you would think by those images and visuals that that's all she needs. Freedom to stay at home and, let's say, be the administrator, the executor. We'll make it really eulogistic. Then you move into the 70s. You had George and Wheezy. You had Good Times. Think about it. Like you had these shows that it was really never about romance to me or intimacy. It was about the man being territorial, the man being the provider, the man taking care, and the woman being very passive.
Pause.
Yes.
So you referenced George and Wheezy.
Yes.
You referenced a few others, but I'm gonna choose that one. So when George got ready to make decisions, even though Wheezy was a stay-at-home wife, he came home and consulted with Wheezy. Now, it may not been in the form of, can I do this? He had a conversation about what his next action was going to be. And they didn't always see eye to eye, right? Matter of fact, his mother always was meddling in their business. So George,
Mama Jefferson.
yes, George had to balance what he was being told to do by his mother and what he needed to do to support and maintain his marriage. So again, that's an example of a man being told and guided, so to speak, in his actions. Now, what she said that you paused me on was men being reckless. When a woman and you asked me a question, has it been communicated what the need is emotionally and mentally? In my case, yes, the answer is yes. So then when you don't provide that, the physical breaks down.
Okay.
And over time, when the physical breaks down, now you got emotional, mental, and physical breakdown. And now I can't be what I need to be for the marriage or for me. Right. So I think that's the part of what she was saying about sometimes men are reckless and a woman is being submitted and you running her in the ground. It's different forms of that. And I think it's personal for every individual. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
It makes sense. Let's catch the other part of it. Let's see what she's talking about.
If women allow men, which means she submit, all right, and allow him to lead, she don't have no control over what he's going to do. She's steady submitting to him. Women have to change their minds and realize that they ain't supposed to submit to men because men just going to do what you allow them to do, because they don't have no governor on their own behavior to know when to not do something, to know better. They don't know. They're just going to keep being reckless. And they're not going to take care of your feelings because they're only concerned about theirs.
That's deep.
That goes back to the commenter when he said, I mean, all men aren't this.
The woman should be the dominant.
All men are not like this, right? And all women don't think like her. So we both bear a responsibility in choosing who we partner with. That's for the man and the woman. And what she described, that to me is not a man. That's not a man.
Okay, let me ask you this then. Lulu, you said something earlier. The man said there's nothing wrong with being henpecked. If you're pecked, not picked, if you're pecked by the right hen.
Pecked. That's right.
Henpecked, pecked by the right hen. What is the right hen to do the pecking? Because her conviction gives me a person and a character that would do some pecking, not picking, but pecking. And when you get henpecked, I'm not sure who. Well, I know who's gonna do the crowing in the morning. He got to do that. Once again, that's his nature.
Yeah. The rooster.
But she talked about men being irresponsible as it relates to the emotional well-being. If I've never been taught how to tap into a woman's emotions outside of what I think supposed to happen when things happen in the orientation where two people come together, then I'm going to have a jaded experience about watching and listening and learning from a woman's emotions when the activity is not physical. Does that make any sense? You chewing on that, huh? Now, listen, I mean, I don't know what man, what woman, what person sat down and told me this is how you help monitor the woman's emotions and her mind without it having something to do with the physical activity. Who taught? You and I, we in the same peer group. What did we learn? Where did we, even in our culture, was that taught to us that I need to look out for my woman's emotional well-being? Even some of us who grew up in homes where there was two parents, that maybe in that household there was no affection displayed. You just did life together.
Mercy.
Think about it.
That's deep.
If I grew up in a household where I did not see a man be affectionate and literally monitor my mother, whatever, aunties, cousins, emotions, where am I going to learn? Where am I going to learn it?
You know, it's funny. That's a great point. But those same, for me, those same shows that you referenced, we grew up watching. We saw the care for June Cleaver. We saw June Cleaver's husband greeted her when he came home with a hug and a kiss or a sweet
Every show, every episode.
one. June Cleaver then responded by making sure that dinner was prepared, the home was well, the children had what they needed. So there was no, in some cases, there may not have been an example in their physical home, but then let's fast forward to, and some people gonna take issue with this person, but prior to negative things coming up about him, the Bill Cosby show, right?
The doctor. No, she was a lawyer. He was the doctor.
That's right.
Yeah.
But they showed us how to show love in the family and support one another, and balance life, right? And have fun doing it, and deal with the difficult conversations in a way that was wholesome and loving. So I can't relate to not knowing, because we have I can appreciate it not being displayed by your parents or the home in which you grew up in, but there's so many more examples that you see. For example, I remember working in retail, and I was a retail manager for Stride Right shoes, and I would see certain groups of families come in to get those children's shoes, and the husband would be completely engaged in when you look at maybe at some physical attributes, the husband may have been a 10 and the wife looked like a 2.5, but that the love that was displayed, all of that wasn't about that. But then another group of people come in as a family, and the mother is the one that's mainly focused on fitting the child, getting those shoes. The daddy step out, he on his cell phone texting or in the hall. He's not engaged, right? And so over time, that can wear a woman out. If that's your life, raising this child from birth to adulthood, if that's what you get, and you're trying to be the submissive woman, that's, from my perspective, that's an example of being reckless with what you've been gifted with. This is your family. Let your emotions, your heart, your actions, and all of that be connected to this wonderful gift that you've been given. And when it's not going to always be perfect, and it's not about a public perception. I'm just using the examples of what I saw in life, working in retail, walking through the mall. We see examples of love all around us every day. We see it. Now, if we care to take it in and decide, you know what, I like how that look, I want that for me one day, and then put the effort into maybe being different than what we saw growing up in our households, maybe, just maybe, we wouldn't be experiencing divorce at the levels that we are.
Great exhortation. So class, everybody, a woman should be the dominant and the man should be submissive. What are your thoughts on that? The woman should be dominant, the man should be submissive.
And the man should be the submissive. That's
because y'all follow commands. You go do. You go do. And she gonna tell you what to do. Because here's the thing. If y'all don't have somebody telling y'all what to do, y'all are going to be reckless. And so women are divorced.
So a comment popped up, said that's 50-50. I guess I don't know true fact 50-50. I don't know about what the 50-50 was. everybody has to be given instructions. Let me just say that everybody has to be given instructions. Now, I'll say this: the woman is
Mhm.
the first teacher. That's your God-given responsibility as a woman to be the first teacher. You're the first teacher. You teach the baby how to respond to need. That's a woman's God-given responsibility. So everybody is given the opportunity to receive and be given instructions. Pre-adventure the woman because of y'all's precious assignment in life and living. Y'all are given that responsibility. So I don't take that from this argument
Mhm.
that, and I respect that women have to be, oh, that's the thing. Women have to teach. You have to teach a child. I hate to be so, it's not even juvenile, but just be so natural. In the animal kingdom, who teaches the animals how to survive? The mother, right?
Mhm.
The mother. So the mother has a God-given right to give instructions until a certain age where the boy outgrows, nature kicks in and he's no longer subject to that feminine energy and guidance because some things are happening naturally and biologically. But like to say that men should be submissive. Let me ask you this. Like I said, I don't know. Lady Luck, great interview. Good job on what you said. Love your conviction, love your energy, love your passion. I would love to talk to her just to unpack all of this. What is your idea? Because maybe you and I have a different perception. What is submission to you? Like, let me give you this illustration. This is the phone charger or
Mhm.
whatever. The plug submits to the charger
Mhm.
so that it can receive power. So submission is a good thing.
Mhm.
Submission complements. Submission does not contradict the skill sets of either or. So to me, submission is complementary. So in your own words, I mean, you've lived life and you've had to be in a situation where you had to claim the rulership and headship of a man. Like, what is submission?
Submission to me is recognizing and honoring authority, right? And hierarchy, um, chain of command, and and yielding to sometimes yielding to what you think is right for what, because again, think what I may think is right may not be what's best. So
Stop. Say that again.
what I sometimes what I think is right, what I think may not be what's best. So going back to your analogy of the plug receiving power, submission, if you misuse that plug, right? That plug was designed for an iPhone charger, right? It sometimes, if you have an Android phone, if you take that cord for the iPhone charger and plug it into that Android block, it won't work. It was not designed to be used that way. So you have to recognize and appreciate. I guess we go back to the natural order, that what things were intended, how things were intended to be, right? And respecting that. That's what that means to me. Now, in a relationship, it's not one-sided, it's two-sided. And so when you have two people committed to the relationship and being respectful towards one another, you get two people coming together, just like that iPhone brick and cord. And when they plug in together and connect, much power. And so
That's
that
good.
that
That's
is
good.
commitment to me.
That's good. I like that. I like the way you said that. Much power when there's a connection.
Yes.
But you
The proper connection.
connection. As we're learning more about love languages and emotional intelligence and all of those things, I think I know who I was at 24 is not who I am at 46.
Ooh, say that.
I'm serious. I move differently. I think differently. My intuitive nature is more heightened now than it has ever been.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the dangers in relationships is this: if you cannot appreciate your spouse growth, it's going to be difficult leading and following anyone when you don't appreciate their growth.
True statement.
So let's get biblical. We'll go back to where we were. Because when you're growing, it comes with some changing. But not all change is a direct result of growth. When you're growing, you're changing, but not all change is a direct result of growth. When you're growing, you are changing, but not all change is a direct result of growth. Let's go back. When the Twin Towers fell and we were attacked, that was change. That wasn't growth. So the biblical example, Jesus was growing, and as a result of his growth, he began to change. And the people that he was leading saw the appearance of his change. But I'm not sure they appreciate what they saw when he changed, because they were trying to minimize, watch this, they were trying to minimize his growth and change to some people who were dead.
My Lord.
So let me say this, and we in the book now. What ideas or mindsets have died in the relationships that we have? But we are trying to minimize a present relationship with a past relationship or past mindset that no longer serves its purpose. Watch your face, girl.
Ooh, that's so good.
Watch your face. I know the face. Watch it. Watch your EKOC.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just saying. I'm just asking. That's part 2. We ain't gonna answer that, y'all. That's part 2. We're gonna leave y'all on that one right there. That's what we gonna have to do. Leave y'all on that. Look at you. Don't answer it.
I'm not gonna answer, but I do want to. I don't know if Jay. I was reading the comments. I don't know if Jay Thomas is still on the call, but if he is, I just would like to know what feedback would you give to women, right? When in understanding, he said, that men are the head, and choosing taking ownership for choosing the right mate. They treat about like a yo-yo. Throw this part out, but we can use this. That's fine. Get out of here. So, but I'm gonna tell you, when I heard this, and me and you kind of talked about this earlier today, it hit me hard, right? Because at
True.
first I didn't want to talk about this because I was like, this real deep, and it's gonna cut and get into some feelings. But then I didn't understand why I felt it was so challenging to talk about. Then I realized it's because of the emotional triggers that I may have within that could understand some of the things that she was saying. So I had to get quiet. And when I got quiet, I went to you know, because you asked me a question. You said, well, what is being picked by the right hand? So I went over to Proverbs 31 and to kind of get my mind in the right space and place. And I realized that my life is not my own. When I decided to accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, I kind of committed to yielding to and submitting to His authority. And with that said, when I read Proverbs 31, I read it and it hit me so different. I never saw the man in this passage of scripture like I did today. And if you would grant me the authority, because I submit to your headship, I would like to share that from the English Standard Version.
Go ahead.
Do I have your permission, sir?
You do.
Okay. So it says, the words of King Lemuel, an oracle that his mother taught him. What are you doing, my son? What are you doing, son of my womb? What are you doing, son of my vows? Do not give your strength to women, not woman, women. Your ways to those who destroy kings. It is not for kings, O Lemuel, it is not for kings to drink wine, or for rulers to take strong drink, lest they drink and forget that what has been decreed, and pervert the rights of all the afflicted. Give strong drink to the one who is perishing, and wine to those in bitter distress. Let them drink and forget their poverty and remember their misery no more. Open your mouth for the mute, for the rights of all who are destitute. Open your mouth and judge righteously. Defend the rights of the poor and needy. And then that's about the man that I never read that like that before until today. And it's telling you to be a wise man, right?
First.
So when you make a choice about a woman, make sure you're being picked by the right hand, because an excellent wife who can find? She is
Not picked
more
by the
precious
right.
than jewels. The heart of her husband trusts in her, and he will have no lack of gain. She does him good and not harm all the days of her life. She seeks wool and flax and works with willing hands. She is like the ships of the merchant. She brings her food from afar. She rises while it is yet night and provides food for her household and portions for her maidens. She considers a field and buys it. With the fruit of her hands, she plants a vineyard. She dresses herself with strength and makes her arms strong. She perceives that her merchandise is profitable. Her lamp does not go out at night. She puts her hands to the distaff, and her hands hold the spindle. She opens her hand to the poor and reaches out her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of snow for her household, for all of her household are clothed in scarlet. She makes bed coverings for herself. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. Her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders of the land. He pecked by the right hand. She makes linen garments and sells them. She delivers sashes to the merchant. Strength and dignity are her clothing, and she laughs at the time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. She looks well to the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praises her. Many women have been many women have done excellently, but you can surpass them all. Charm is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Give her the fruit of her hands and let her works praise her in the gates. That hit so different today after watching this video. And so I thank God for the revelation and the conversation, because it's been very enlightening. So thank you, Dr. Hill.
So we got to do a part 2, right? On that statement about 50 minutes ago. We'll close out with the rest of this argument.
Divorcing y'all in these relationships because they are allowing you to quote unquote lead, and they're being submissive. And since y'all can't lead yourself, y'all leading her into the ground. So here's the thing. The natural order is for the feminine to be the leader. If you give to the feminine, right? The feminine is always going to regenerate life and everybody's going to be taken care of. Y'all are territorial. Y'all just want the image of leadership. You just want to be out in public. I'm the leader, but all of the responsibility is actually on the woman. The leader takes the majority of the responsibility. If women allow men, which means she submit, all right, and allow him to lead, she don't have no control over what he's going to do. She's steady submitting to him. Women have to change their minds and realize that they ain't supposed to submit to men because men just going to do what you allow them to do, because they don't have no governor on their own behavior to know when to not do something, to know better. They don't know. They're just going to keep being reckless. And they're not going to take care of your feelings because they're only concerned about theirs.
Woo. We got to finish that part. And then we got to put in that Proverbs 31 piece, a revelation. And then we got to talk about that question that I asked at around 50-minute mark about your growth and your change and what ideas are you comparing with the new you that should have been, that is dead.
Oh,
There's some stuff that's died in you.
mm-hmm.
Period. I mean, you're not dead, but it's died. That died in you.
Mm-hmm.
That died. That has died. Going to the club, that's dead. You know, that's dead. Like hanging out with the girls on the block, going to the park, that's dead. We got grandchildren now.
Mm-hmm.
That's some busting the block. That's what we used to call it, busting the block. That's dead. So what ideas have died that you've buried, that you are trying to compare to your new growth, that does not compare, nor can it even compete with the new you and the assignment that God has in your life, so that you won't reverse the order?